Okay, we are live. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. All right, welcome everyone to Stock Analysis Friday. Today is October 31st, Halloween, so happy Halloween to everybody. And did you miss us last week? Last week we took the week off last week. We had some business to take care of, some travel, but we're back in the saddle today. And again, we'll be here every week on Friday here. So I hope everybody's doing well. All right, I'm going to go through a few administrational items before we jump in. Feel free to start typing in your stocks. Ed, I see you're typing them in. Great. And type them in caps. And let me know if you're long, short, or thinking about going into a trade. That way I can tailor the analysis to you. Also, too, I got to go through the risks involved in trading. So let me just go ahead and get started with that. The first thing you have to realize is that when we trade or invest in the financial markets, there's no guarantees. Okay, we don't know what's really going to happen next. We have a probability of what we think is going to happen, but it's not a guarantee. So please realize that. And because of that, you'll always have to trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. And when you take an investment or a trade, always know what the downside is. Don't focus on just the upside. Know if this trade doesn't work, or where this idea is invalidated, that's where you want to get out, okay? And what's your loss going to be? Know that before you take the trade. And then, of course, know what the potential profit's going to be. But most everybody does that. It's the loss that is sometimes a problem for most people. All right, so keep an eye on that. If you need help in that area, there's a really specific way in which we calculate trade size based on where our stop's going to be in our account size. So I'm going to cover that in a minute, but I got a book on that. I've got software that can help you with that. So we'll cover that in a minute. All right. So also, too, any recommendation I give you here, whether it's on a stock or the overall market, always run it by your financial advisor. I don't know your personal situation. They certainly should. And there's a lot of factors that go into whether a trade is suitable for you or not. So definitely get that checked out. All right. And past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. Okay, I think that's kind of standard. All right, a couple of books on money management, but if you want the best book, it's my newest book, The Art of Trading, second edition, because it covers all that. All right, I put everything in that book. It's 608 pages long. Just came out this year, so it's brand new. And I'll put a link in the down below in the description if you're watching the recording or if you want to come back. Also, there's many links for our books and our software on the website. So definitely check that out. I created software a long time ago. I used to work for a major institution, and but this is before we actually had it coded for software. And I was trading high net worth individuals' funds with it. And then we decided to code it and bring it public. And it's called the ART system, and it consists of the AL, PTF, TLM, and ERI. We've been doing this now for about 30 years, so a long time. We're not new here. We've been around the block. We make updates to the software when necessary. It is what it is, okay? We haven't had to really make much changes to it because it's complete. And so if you want to check that out, again, I'll put a link at the bottom, or you can go to our website. I will be using it today when we look at charts. All right, take your finger and hit it. Give us a like, okay? We need more likes, all right? We're trying to build the channel, and we need your help to do it. So give us likes. Even if you're watching the recording, give us a like. It helps promote the channel. All right, a couple things I just want to go over here as well. You know, if you want to know what's going on with the markets are at a critical level. And I've got some pretty specific ideas based on technical analysis of what's going to unfold in the markets over the next year. So the MOR report is where I disclose that. So if you're interested in that, it's very inexpensive. And we also give you stock picks in that report. So it's a kind of a combination market. We cover the major indexes like the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, and things like that. We cover Bitcoin, we cover the real estate market, and then we also include the stock picks. So I'll put a link below. If you're on our email list, you'll get something there too, or you can just go to our website, okay, under subscriptions and check it out. What else can I say about it? It's every week I update it. I also do a video with it on Sunday. So it's not only a written report, but a video, and it's a very comprehensive report. So check it out. All right, now we've got something new coming up in November. All right, I wanted to share this with you because we're hoping to get a good turnout. We're going to be here on YouTube and do it. And it's called the Saturday Trading Education Workshop. It's going to be just about 30 minutes. I'm going to cover something new when we do it. I think it's going to be monthly. I got to talk to Gene about how often. All right. So, you know, we'll let you know on that in an email, but we're going to start it next month. So to stay tuned for that. And then also we have the Advanced Price Action Trading course coming out later in November as well, at the end of November. So you'll get an email on that as well. And here it is, more about the fancier slide on the Advanced Price Action Trading Made Easy course. All right, so that basically, when you see me analyze a stock, for example, today, you'll see me draw in like fair value gaps. We'll talk about bull and bear flags. We'll talk about inverse fair value gaps, order blocks, structure, things like that. That's what this course is going to go into, so you can do it on your own, okay? So it's going to be very comprehensive. All right, any questions on that? Let me know, and I'm going to come out of here, and we're going to jump in. Now, I'm going to give you guys two suggestions on some stocks that I think are now okay. One is silver. Yeah, silver was reaching for all-time high, so I didn't want to recommend it until it had a pullback, and it looks like we may have had it. There looks like there's some follow-through now off this pullback. I think it's a good idea to start going into silver. Now, we have not had a red owl. That's this thing down here. So we're still technically in wave 3, and we may get one more push up into wave 3, or we could get another move down and go into wave 4 before wave 3. In other words, wave 3 would be over. That's a possibility, okay? But I don't think it's a bad area to start trickling in. So if you want to put in some here and then see if this bottom holds, you can do that. But this, according to my analysis and what my indicators are saying, more highs are coming. So even if you got in a little early here today, just hold it. Okay, you can add in more a little later if it goes a little bit lower, because the chances of another high are extremely high on silver. I like it just because it gave us a chance to get in back in prices way back in September, all right, because it was really soaring up. So that's one. Just like this one, gold is the other one, all right? This is another one I would recommend here because we've had the pullback, same scenario as silver, okay? We may get a little bit more pullback, but we did hit the fib retracement, so you can start trickling into this and look at the indicators below. I mean, very powerful down below. So silver and gold, I think you guys should start thinking about that one. And, you know, I would be in that one for a little while, okay? It's not a short trade. I think you can hold that one. And even if the market at some point rotates over into a bear market, both of these should do well, okay? All right, so I just wanted to share that, and now we'll get to yours. So let me start. Ed, I think you're the first one here today. All right, Ed's got a couple here or three for potential buys. So let's take a look at that. OPFI. Let's take a look and see. All right. So we've looked at this before. Okay. We got some of the indicators are looking okay. For example, what I like to look at here is, all right, hold on one second. My pointer is not pointing. Let me restart that. This happens all the time. I don't know why that happens. But anyway, it is what it is. I love that saying. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got a green PTF down here. Okay, that's that indicator. If you're not familiar with us, is an indicator I designed. Has a 75% probability of accuracy, which is pretty good. All right, so when it's green, all right, it means that the market should return and make a new high. And the accuracy on that is 75%. What it doesn't tell you is when, or it doesn't tell you how much of a pullback you're going to have a correction before it returns. So it's actually really useful when you have a correction, because if you're thinking about going back into the market and this is green, then going back into the market to the long side is the right thing you want to do, right? So that I find very, very helpful. I think it's a great indicator. And we teach you how to use it with the owl, which is the histogram above. So it looks like we had a 3 here, ABC, pushing our way up here. The only thing with this, Ed, right now is what I would do, all right, is I would draw a trend line, all right, just like this. And technically, we still haven't really had a break in market structure. So I can't tell you it's in an uptrend yet. It's still kind of in a downtrend. Now, what was interesting is we had this big, big price bar with a long wick. That's a good sign, okay? That means you had a lot of rejection down here. In other words, the bull stepped in and drove it higher. But the problem with that is you created a new low, all right, and a break in structure there. So right now, it's kind of in a range, all right? So again, I think I would hold off a little bit on that until we get some more definitive move up, okay? Timing is everything, all right? TSSI, let's take a look at that one. Okay, all right, so this one, green PTF, a lot of green on both. And look at the price bar today, all right? So that's a good sign. We've got a good move down here. So this was 3. You can see the owl. All right. We had an ABC correction. So yeah, I'm liking this one. Okay. So this is one I recommend. Nice job on that one. Okay. So put your stop here at the bottom. Let me just make sure. I would put, notice this is kind of very interesting, is that on this one here, I think we had a lot of nice little fair value gap there, order block down here. Notice it went into the order block, which is right below, and then bounced off it. So we should have a leg up now. Okay. Did we break structure? We broke it here and here. Yeah. So you're looking good here. So TSSI is a buy. Okay. That's a good one. All right. SERV. Let's take a look at that one. All right, we got bullish on here. Not a lot of history on this one. All right. Let's see what we got here. I don't like this one as much. And we've got a couple things going on here. If you could draw a pennant, draw it. All right. Pennants are extremely powerful. You know, that's how I first went into silver. We had a pennant a number of months ago, and it broke out to the upside. So I wouldn't do anything until we get a breakout on this. I mean, you could technically draw this, I guess, on the daily, but it's not as good as the one I drew on the weekly. All right. Plus, we have some big pyramids. So this is a no-go for right now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ed. All right. Let's move on. Ed is back. Wait, Ed's busy here. All right. RGTI. RGTI. And you must belong to a newsletter or something, or you have some website you get these off of, because you got an awful lot, which is good. But share with us how you're coming across these. That would be helpful. All right, so we've got a lot of green here. I'm liking that. On the weekly chart, I'm not sure the correction's over. We don't really have an ABC here. I guess maybe, but not really. I like that price bar. Okay. I wish this had a red owl on this one, because it's like silver and gold. It's always possible that if you're in a wave 4, it's not complete yet until you have the red owl. So that's the only thing. Could be a minor 4 and a 3. And if that's the case, you won't get the red owl. Don't worry about this. You're definitely going higher, okay, according to the indicators. This is why I think our indicators are the best on the market, because they give you a statistical edge on the bias. And I like that. All right, now, a couple things. This is the bearish bar up here on the weekly. All right, so you definitely had a lot of rejection up here. And then you had a bar down here. You have not had a close below here. So that's not really, we could go up from here or we could go down. All right. You have some major order blocks down in here. Okay. You have a lower fair value gap here. All right. That's not been mitigated. You had one here that was mitigated. If this thing's not going to go into a full-blown correction, you've mitigated the one up here. So chances are, let me draw that one in too. Chances are at this point, then you may get another leg up. So you went through that, had rejection. That's good. If you go below that, if it closes below that area, it's not good. All right, let's take a look at the daily. All right, nice bull flag here. I'm going to teach you more about which bull flags are the best ones to use. All right, that's a nice bull flag there after a micro compression to the upside. I like that. All right, what I mean by that is when you get a micro channel like that and a bull flag, that's awful nice. Okay, so now you got another situation here. So I gotta say, the only reservation I have about that is we may pull back into a little bit lower of an order block, but I think that's okay. So I think probably at this time we could put that down as a buy. Your stop's got to go pretty low. You could even use an option on this. You got to put your stop, I think. I don't want it that far down. I think, yeah, the problem is the stop's got to go really low. So if you're going to go in this for, let's just say we're assuming we're going to make one more high before it goes into a correction, your stop's got to be around 33.77. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that one down. I like the fact that we have a new fair value gap forming here. Okay, so that's a good sign. All right, so not bad. All right, UAMY, let's check that one out. I'll try to pick it up here, move a little quicker here. All right, so bullish, 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 bullish. And same type of thing. Look at the rejection up here. All right, same as the other market. This one, however, there's no bullish bar over here on the daily. So this is a no-go. All right, let's wait for it to turn around. Looks to me like we may got an ABC, so we may get another turnaround by next week, but let's hold off on that one. All right, FICO. All right, so this one we looked at last week. We were waiting for it to break out of that channel there, and it did it. So let's just wipe those off. Okay, so bullish on there. We had a pullback here. We have that red, looks good there. ABC correction. Okay, so here's the way I would do this one. I'm not going to recommend it right this second. I draw this. If you get prices closing above that trend line, it's a buy. So let's put FICO on the watch list. All right. It's got the trend line, has to have a trend line break with a close, not a wick, but a close above the trend line. Okay. And that is your last one, I think. Okay, good. Thanks, Ed. So we pulled out, so far we pulled out TSSI and RGTI, but you got to give them a wide stop. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. Let me put that up there. That's a link from Gene on our books. Thank you, Gene. And Al, good to see you, Al. All right. FSLR. FSLR. All right. Let's see what we got cooking on this bad boy. All right. Now you're bullish. That means you're in these, right? Okay. So it's too late to get in them if you are not already in them. Do not get in this. But if you're in this already, I would keep the stop pretty tight here. All right. I'd have it right under here at 232. If that's too tight for you, draw a trend line. Okay. Something like that. All right. You can even draw two, right? You can draw one like that. Okay. So just make sure prices stay above that, because that's a pretty mature move up. And we got a red PTF looming on the weekly chart. Okay. So that's where you have that. Notice we had some bearish on the weekly. We previously drew in bearish fair value gaps, but we got closed above those. So they become inverse bearish fair value gaps. That's bullish. Okay. All right. So you're in good shape on that. If you're long, just stay with it. All right. MELI is our next one. All right, let's see what we got cooking here. Little topsy-turvy on this one. All right, so it's been coming down a little bit. All right, we had a little bit of a range, broke down into this area here. All right, then we had a nice move up into the bearish fair value gap. We did not get over it. All right, so here. All right, so let's take a quick look here. All right, so there's your bearish fair value gap. And did we close above that? The answer is no. We're showing some rejection. So that concerns me that it's moving down. So I would not do this. Also, too, technically, I could draw a bearish trend line here. And that's a no-go. Okay. So if you're long on that one and you made money, tighten your stop up so you don't give it back, okay? All right, RMBS. A lot of BS here, right? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, another one. You know, these are too late for people to get into, okay? So this is specifically for Al, assuming he's long. I put the stop right at this pyramid here, Al, okay? On the daily chart. You also have this PTF going yellow. And I think by the end of this week, this one will go yellow too, because it's the weekly chart. So I would probably be scaling out of my position and with part of my position, and then put the rest, a tight stop on it. Okay. That's how I would do that. All right. Hopefully that is good. All right. And Al is back with GNTX. GNTX. Let's see what we got cooking on that. Bearish. Good. You want to be bearish. All right. You can hold your bearish position there. I think probably according to the PTF, they're going to take the liquidity out down here. So you're good till about, once you breach 2019, the way I do this is I would put an order in to buy back some of my position if it breaches that low of March, okay, on the weekly chart. So I think you can hold this for quite some time. You can put your stop way up here, all right? Got an order block here and a huge fair value gap. So stop above that pyramid should be just dandy, okay? That's why I love the pyramids. All right, so, you know, as far as anybody else, as long as you can keep your stop as high as that, you can go short. So that would be fine. I'm actually going to put this one down as a good short. You can always use an option too, you know. All right, stop's got to be around 27 point. Oh, let me tell you what the high of that is. All right, hold on. 26, 27. Okay, put your stop at least 27, maybe 27.2. Okay, something like that. All right, and your next one, AN. All right. This one to me is not as good as the other one. All right. I get it, but you got a bearish scenario still kind of in place here a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And I only say that because you have a green owl over here. This is all red over here. The question for me is, where is it going? All right. The other one is pretty clear. This one, we've got support. We got structure right here. Okay. Order block, fair value gap, stopped it dead. Okay. Might go down a little further. Okay. Are they going to take the equity out on this pyramid and this? Maybe. All right. But it's a little too far gone. That pyramid entry here would have been okay, because the owl was turning red then, but not now. Okay. So if you're short here, all right, and you're sitting in profit, I put my stop right above this one price bar here, probably for half of my position. And then if we get above this fair value gap, I'd probably get out. Okay. Or just use the stop on the pyramid, but you're going to give a lot back. All right. That's AN and WWW. All right. So what do we got cooking here? Okay. So again, let's see what we got here. You know, it all depends on where you got in. If you're just getting in now, it's risky to the short side. All right. So that's my only thing here. You had a nice fair value gap, a little bit of an order block down here. I'm saying, again, if you're short, trail your stops down and don't give it back, okay? Because according to the PTF on the weekly chart, we're going to make another high after this correction, okay? Hopefully that helps, okay? Thank you. All right. Okay, let's see. It's back with CLF. CLF. Okay, so own it. He's long, up 40%. Sweet. Sweet, as the kids say. Sweet. All right, so now let's see what we got cooking here. Okay, green PTF on the weekly. So this is saying, Ed, that we're going to take out the high. Okay. And if we're going to take that high out, you know, it's not going to go in a straight line. It's going to go whoop, 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 right? It's going to zigzag. So you got to be willing to give some of that profit back, all right, in hopes to make more profit. That's how, you know, when you hold a position, that is part of holding the position, right? And that's what holding positions can be so hard for so many, because you have to not count your profits until the trade is closed, so to speak. All right, so you got a number of pyramids on the daily chart. You got a gap down today, all right? That's a bit of a bearish signal, so we're probably going to come back into the single digits, I think, before it goes higher, all right? So just be aware of that. We could even draw in an area here. We got support there. Let's just draw it in a quick fib. There's one here. We already hit that. And then there's another possibility of a larger fib if that owl goes red on the daily chart. Okay, so we're in both of those. So I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not going to recommend it because it really hasn't turned around back to the upside yet for anybody to go long yet, even though it's in the target for the pullback, but it could go a little lower. So I guess hold it. If it goes below this fib area here or this structure here, maybe get out, but it should go higher, okay? But you're going to have to get back, I think, a little more before it does. QSG, all right? QSG. All right, green PTF across the board, but it is pulling down. So again, this should return and make a high. So the target still stands. All right. I don't think looks like we went a teeny bit lower here. We can redraw that a teeny bit, I think, on this bar here. We might have to redraw it again. But the PTFs are pretty much in line with the target. Problem is kind of basing a little bit. We have structure here. Be interesting to see if it comes down to this structure. That would be a worst case scenario in the pullback. I would probably stay with it because it's already pulled down into the area that I would expect it to. Okay. All right. MHO. See what that one's looking like. Potential new buy. Okay. So you're not in this one. It hasn't turned around yet. Okay. And you can draw a trend line straight down on this one. Just like that. Okay. So it really hasn't turned around yet. Green PTFs, so keep an eye on it. It should turn around pretty soon, but it hasn't yet. So let's look at that one next week. Let's put this on the watch list for next week because that may be close to turning around. All right. Frank Turpin, how are you? All right. Let's see. Teva. I haven't looked at Teva in a while. All right. Teva. T-E-V-A. Let's see what we got cooking on Teva. All right. So I think you're probably not in these, but looking at them is what I think. All right. So PTFs are yellow. Yellow is neutral. No help. Okay. We've got, this does not do much for me. You may be looking at some news or something on it. We may break this high here. That's a 3. Let's see what we get if we put in a fib extension here. That's what I thought. Okay, we're pretty close to the target. I don't think I'd do this one. Okay. All right, let's have a WDC. Let's take a look at that one. All right. WDC, Western Digital Group, I think that one is. All right. Again, too late. I don't like getting in there. Plus, we got a little bit of rejection on the weekly chart up here. And it looks like we got a bearish bar coming down here. And here, look at the PTF. This is why I love the PTF. Check this out. All right. So notice how it turned yellow here. Okay. So it was right. Okay. It basically was green ever since it made a high in this area here. And then it went higher, pulled back. So during the pullback, it was green. So that gives you confidence to know it's going to return. All right. And it did. And now it turned yellow. Now, when it turns yellow like that, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successful pyramids in a row. Okay. All bullish P pyramids. Then I take half my position off and put the other half at the pyramid. All right. Now, here's the pyramids that were right. This is your first entry on the top or the apex of the pyramid. All right. And the stop goes down there. You trail your stops up. All right. Not too bad, right? That was a nice run. All right. And that was from 40 to 140, 120 or 125 is where your stop would be on the pyramid. So that's sweet, right? We're in good shape. Not stopped out at all. We had a red MP, but that's a minor pyramid. That's just used at times for scaling out or letting you know we're going into a correction or range. That's all that is. That's not a change in trend, especially with the green owl at that point. And you also had a green PTF in that form. All right. So that's how you use all the tools together. Okay. They're great tools. All right. So use them. All right. But in this case here, Frank, it's too far gone. Okay. Too far gone. All right. All right. Let's keep going here. All right. Alexander, how are you? All right. SNOW. SNOW. For Stuart. All right. Target price. All right. So we got a little, we go back to 2020. No PTFs aren't helping. So what is the target price? That's a tough one. All right. Let me just see if we can get a fib on here. We've already taken out the range high back here. Trying to see what we could figure out. This owl is not quite as high as this one. This is the highest one. This owl could, though, become the highest one if it keeps going straight up. So at this point here, I would say it's an ABC correction. So let's go here and see what a fib is on the weekly chart. We're kind of already in it. Stuart, what I would do on this one is you could use the pyramids, because I know you have our software, and go up with it as long as it will allow. Draw a trend line, okay, at this point. And if it breaches that trend line, take some or all off the table if you want at that time. So that's how I would do it, okay? There's not a lot of history on the weekly chart to get a better target than what I just drew on there, okay? So hopefully that helps, okay? All right. Belt is here, 26. I won't tell your real name, though. All right. Long side, CRSP. Of course, hold on 1 second. I screwed that up. Okay. CRSP. All right. Let's see how Crispy's doing here. All right. So we looked at this one before, too. All right. So long side. All right. So we came down here. We hit here. PTF turned yellow. Okay. I think we're done. Okay. There's nothing there telling me that it's going higher. We had this, we had a correction, we had a final high. Let's, for fun, put in a fib, and you hit the fib up there too. You're still in the range, kind of, on the weekly chart, see? All right. So we may go to the bottom of the range, or we may turn around and go back up. So if you want to basically stay in this, use the pyramid on the weekly chart as your stop. And if this is a new move up, that pyramid should hold and it should go higher. Otherwise, I think it may come back down to the bottom of that channel area. In other words, back into the 30s. And we have a red owl now on the daily, okay? No longer green PTFs. All right, AZO. All right, so this one is also coming down. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, what an elevator that was. All right, hopefully you made a lot of money on that one. All right, so, you know, the pyramid over here would have taken you out in this area here, and you would have definitely gotten out on a bearish P pyramid. So at this particular point, could you get another high? Well, let's take a look. Look at the weekly PTF. It's green. So that's indicating more highs coming. However, you got a red PTF on the daily. So you read from left to right, because left is the daily chart, the right is the weekly, right? So what's going to happen on the left chart will happen before what's going to happen on the right chart. All right, so we're still coming down. All right. Now, my concern is, and we have a pretty strong owl here, but we also have a very strong bearish owl on the daily. So what's the risk? Well, the risk is that this goes into a major wave 4 on the weekly chart. And heck, that's huge, right? So let's just draw a fib. I'll use this point here. So we could go down to 2971 to 2100. All right. Now, is there a chance it could come down to 3500 and find support on this order block here and make one more high before it does this? Yes. Okay. That's what makes it a tough call, right? They don't want to make it easy for anybody. All right. So, you know, that could be the target. Okay. But if it goes into a major 4, then it's going to go much deeper than that. Okay. I'm going to let you decide what you want to do on that. I would have gotten out already. Okay. All right. So BFLY. Certainly don't buy it here. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Green PTF is there. Go back to 2021. We've got a basing here, but it's technically still in a little bit of a range here. All right. The good part on this, let me just open this up so I can read it better. is that this order block here held nicely. Look at that. Sweet. All right, check that out. All right, so that held pretty good there. It's been mitigated, and then we had a bounce off there. So that's a good sign. All right, let's see what's cooking here. We got a little bit of a weird bar forming today, a rejection bar. I mean, the day's not over, but that is a rejection bar. We've got a pyramid here. We also got a huge order block down here. Okay. So, and this fair value gap was mitigated too with the gap up. May fill this gap, but it looks to me like we could be going back up. Let me just see if there's any equity that these folks will be shooting for that have not been taken out. They took out this, got one more down here. They really want to push it. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I think on this situation here, a couple things you could do here is just draw a trend line here. Okay, that if it goes below that and closes below that, I'd watch this order block right here. Okay, so your stop's got to be below that pyramid. And I think what I would do on this, I'd like it to pull back a little bit before actually entering, but I'm going to put this on a buy. I mean, you could wait till next week, but it looks to me like we may have begun the next leg up, and this is just some of the noise in that leg on the way up. So I'll put that one down as one that is good. If you want to wait a little bit to take out this high in case it pulls back into this gap on the daily, you could do that. If it pulls in this gap on the daily and reverses, buy it. Okay, that's kind of the way I would do that. All right. CRPP, Frank said we looked at that one, took some profits. Good job. All right. Here, this is good. Okay, so I asked Ed how he found his ideas. So he says most of his ideas are my own. Sure, yeah. All right. I have a tech background in financial district in New York City. All right. So he's got a secret sauce. He's not telling us. Okay. Doesn't matter, Ed. You don't have to tell us. But those are pretty good. All right. Yes, I know that. I wasn't going to say his name because I was keeping him secret. Right. And now, yeah, as Gene says, the secret is now out. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Frank. And Al is back with PLRX with a question mark. PLRX. Should he go long? Well, let's see. All right. $1.70. See what we got cooking here. All right. So we have a pyramid here. I don't think it was stopped out. All right. You had one down here, not stopped out. So your first entry would have been down in here if you're going to use the pyramid. But you had a channel. I don't know if I would have taken that. I might take this one because it broke out of the channel and settled back in. All right, you got a pyramid here, kind of. I don't know. Got a green owl here. Let's see if we're breaking out of this thing here. Kind of a long wick. You got to be careful of manipulation on these smaller stocks. But I'm not going to recommend this one. Okay. But if it can close above this pyramid point, either today or next week sometime, go long. Okay. I just want to make sure it's not getting ready to pull back in a more significant way. Okay. All right, CTMX. CTMX. Same thing, long. All right, so let's see what we got. Yellow PTFs. So again, notice the pyramid down here. You would have been stopped out here. You would not have taken this one because it's an MP. And then you had some institutions come in and buy in here, creating fair value gaps, accumulation. So I would not go into this right now. Are you going to get another high? I don't know. All right, you had a little bit of a consolidation and then another high. So I would be afraid of a dump here. Okay, you may get one more high, but it's not, more guessing than anything else. All right, let's here go here. RIOT. Riot. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right, no position. And at this particular point, looks like it's going higher, but I would have liked for you to have gotten in earlier. And I would personally, I would wait. We're getting a little bit of consolidation here. All right. I don't know if you're going to get another push or a pullback, a more significant pullback into the 16 area before it goes higher. So I would wait for the pullback, and then we'll take a look at it again. Okay. All right. UNG is not ready. Okay. Do not buy this yet. Okay. UNG made a low and now it's in a consolidation. Okay. So it has not shown us anything. I don't know why I have that there. Why do I have that there? Hold on one second. Oh, okay. Well, let me just remove that. Okay. So, yeah, I would wait on this one. Okay. Will it be a buy one day? Sure. Okay. More than likely, but it ain't right now. Okay. So let's move those down. So again, there's no signs of this breaking out to the upside yet. But keep an eye on it. Let's put that on the watch list because one day that will be good. All right. All right. William, how are you? All right. RF. Okay, you're long on these. RFIL. See what we got cooking here. Okay. And you're currently long, I think, is what you're saying on these. Okay. Hopefully you got in at a good price. It's ranging right now. Ranging markets are really tough. You had a lot of rejection up in this area here, and you did not take the high out. That always makes it fun. Okay. So it did not take the equity out here. Very interesting. Okay. So no green PTFs anymore. And I would say probably you should get another high on this. I would think they'd take that equity out. You got a strong owl here. I think they may come down a bit first. The thing is with this one here that's so interesting is you've got a ton of fair value gaps here. They mitigated one, but you got a couple down here. So I wouldn't put it past them to mitigate those before making another high. All right. Everybody is long on this most likely by now because you had a change in structure here. So where are all the stops? Well, all the stops are down here probably or here. So I think they may take this out before going high. Okay. I do think you'll get another high on this, but you also have bearish divergence here and here. So that's a tough one. Okay. If you're up a certain percentage, I would definitely put a stop where you don't give it all back. Okay. That's the best I can tell you on that. MVST. Put it this way, I wouldn't be going long on it right now. All right, this one, nice breakout to the upside. Rejection bar here. Let me just draw on some fibs here and here. Let's just draw that in. Okay, so the target for even a normal fib rejection is much higher. Okay, if this is, okay, you have green there and green there. So it looks like we're going to get another high. This is why I love the PTFs, because when they're yellow, then it's not as probable. Okay, so it looks like to me you're going to have another high on this. We're coming down into, this is a structured area here. All right. The problem is if you're in it, I would just hold it. Okay. If you're thinking about going in it, you need to have, I would draw it like that. I would wait for a close above that trend line I just drew, including today's price. So I wouldn't go in it today. I would take a look at it and draw the trend line like that. Okay. With a target being probably in that target here, or start trailing your stops up in case it doesn't quite meet the target, or only in the lower range. Okay. All right. Oh, CR, didn't we look at that one? Frank's saying I skipped this one. CRVP. We looked at that. Okay. Sorry, Frank, but we'll look at it now. All right. No, we didn't. You're right, because I would have noticed that down there. Okay, so as you can see, I draw trend lines on here before. We looked at it, I think maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, I don't know. But I had trend lines drawn here. So these are all areas where you could have gotten out there. All right. But look at this, whammo. Okay. So we got green PTF still. So that's kind of interesting. We went up to this structure here. The long-term stop is down here at 837. Where is that? That is 905. That's your long-term stop right under there. All right, which is an order block there. So, that's where we are now. Green PTFs, that's interesting. But are you long this one? Let me see what you set up here. If I can find you. You're long at 966 and you took some profits. All right, and I'd get out. I'd take all the profits. Okay. Simply because this gap beyond the fib, all right, we could go down, quite a bit more. You can always go back in. But what happens if this makes one more low? Okay. Then you'll be glad you got out. All right. And if it goes back up, well, you'll miss the opportunity, but you have a profit. Okay. Okay, no worry. Thanks, Perry. Oh, yeah. Probably true, but there you have it. All right. But you see, Perry, I do have some people that think I'm okay. All right, there you have it. Thank you, Ed. I needed that boost of confidence. All right. Okay, so anything else? My pleasure, Frank. You are very welcome. And I agree with Gene. It's nice to have Edward here because we need these comments. Those are good comments. All right, seriously, thank you guys. Good class today. I agree. Now, let me just go over before we end here because I think I got them all. So for the ones we could take today, silver, okay, and gold. All right, those are ones that I would look at as more kind of a buy and hold situation. All right. And they pulled back a little bit. Could they pull back a little more, a little bit? But the momentum to the upside is so strong on those that they can reverse very quickly. And I see nothing but more highs on both of those. Okay. TSSI is one we like today. RGT. Oh boy, I can't even read my own handwriting. RGT, I think it's I. Ooh, that's a long one. Okay, short GNTX, I do like that one, and BFLY. Okay, I think some of those, if the stops are far away, just use options on that. Okay. All right. Okay, so Bill, yeah, okay, good, Bill, making me feel better. I appreciate that. And yeah, this is our famous one. When you get old, we're always young at heart, right? All right, so Yep, it is Halloween trick-or-treating tonight. Okay. I think I'll dress up as a trader tonight. What do you think? All right. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you all. Great to be back here, and we'll be back again next Friday. And until then, have a good week. All right. And put a little music on, and then in the room here. Okay. Let's see. Hold on one second. Ed's asking a question here. Do we need to sign up for the training? Are you talking about the workshops we're coming out with? The answer is no. Those are actually going to be free. Okay. So we'll let you know on that. I think it's scheduled for November 8th, which is maybe next Saturday, I guess. Let me check my calendar of goodies here. Give me a second. I can find where my calendar is. Yeah, that's going to be next Saturday, not tomorrow, but it starts on the 8th, I think. All right. Yeah. And Gene will send you an email, okay, on that. So it's only going to be like half an hour. I'm going to pick a topic each time to cover. And you can ask questions during it, just like you do here. But we're going to do it on YouTube, okay? So it'll be easy to find us. And then the course, and I think you were interested in the course as well, and it's going to be a good course. I really recommend it. I don't care what software you use, whether you use ART or whatever strategy you use. It is price action, so it will go with everything, and it will definitely make you a better trader, okay? So you definitely want to check that out. All right. So let's see. Anything else? Alexander, so good to have you here as well. Okay. All right. Okay, that's it. All right. So I'll put a little music on. We'll close the room in a few minutes, and you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week.